Hello there, Nate here from Naperville Music. I wanted to make a little video today to kind of chime in on what is now a pretty old debate in the world of pianos. And that is, which is better, Yamaha or Kawai? And for the purposes of this video, we'll just be talking about acoustic pianos only. All right. Before I start, I'll give you some background on why or maybe why not you want to hear my take on this debate. First of all, I've played literally hundreds of different Kawai and Yamaha pianos. Just about every model, upright, grand, that you can possibly imagine. I've sold both new Kawai and Yamaha pianos for years. I'm actually a little older than I look. Let's keep that between ourselves. I've been to dozens of workshops and training seminars on how these pianos are built, how they're made. And I've even been to Kawai's factory in Hamamatsu, Japan, where, by the way, in addition to making their own quality instruments, Kawai dutifully makes the Boston line of pianos that Steinway promotes as their own. Interesting little piano fact there. So I'm pretty familiar with both Yamaha and Kawai. And here's my honest take comparing the two of them. So the big thing that some people talk about is the touch difference, because the piano actions for Kawai and for Yamaha are simply fundamentally made out of different materials. If you're new to the world of piano, when I say piano action, what I'm referring to is, well, the many moving pieces that exist between the key that you're pushing down and then the hammer that's then getting triggered to strike a set of strings to produce the note or the acoustic tone. There are lots of moving parts that help make up that piano action to make that happen. So, what's the difference in the materials? Well, Yamaha is making their piano action wholly out of wood, for the most part, and Kawai is using a composite material. Don't call it plastic. It's ABS carbon, to be specific. But what does that matter? Well, Kawai would argue that their piano action, being made up of this composite material, makes it less susceptible to warpage, slippage, general wear and tear, and can even help the action maybe feel a little bit lighter to the touch. Interesting. Yamaha, on the other hand, would simply argue that removing all the wood from the action then hurts the resonant tone of the piano, and that the undesired warpage from a wooden action is simply what you would pay your tuner to, regulate out of your piano every so often, every 5 or 10 years. So what do I think of all this? I think sound-wise, the difference between the wood action and the composite action is perceptible, but probably not huge. But I think that the touch definitely is noticeable in the difference. Which one's better? I like them both. But I think it would be fair to say that the touch on the Yamaha is what most people would consider a more traditional feel, for whatever that's worth. Now that brings us to the second thing that people tend to talk about when comparing a Yamaha and a Kawai piano, and that is the overall sound. Kawai and Yamaha pianos both have a distinctly different tone. Yamahas tend to sound open. Kawais tend to sound a bit darker. Now this is largely just based on how each company voices the hammers on their piano. It's definitely got a lot to do with how they crown the soundboards on their pianos. Now it's probably fair to say that the Yamaha sound is a more popular sound, but it's certainly not fair to say that it's obviously better. Just because something's more popular definitely doesn't mean it's better. It's really a personal preference. I happen to prefer the sound of a Yamaha, as evidenced by the fact that I happen to own one. But if you're trying to decide between a Yamaha and a Kawai piano, and you haven't already heard both, well, maybe you should. Anyway, I hope this has been at least somewhat helpful. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, and feel free to watch any of my other videos about pianos and the piano industry. And if you ever want to stop by Naperville Music Showroom and check out what we've got, we'd love to have you.